Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church. It's good to be with you on this Christmas morning. Merry Christmas. Hope you're having a great day or at least getting started on one. Around here, we're enjoying the nice warm temperatures inside and looking out at the snow outside. You know, white Christmases are the stuff of songs, so it's kind of nice to have one to look at. I hope that indeed this is a special day for you. I know that many of you will not be with your family as you had planned, and many of you might even be kind of lonely. And so I want to just encourage you this morning to think about the meaning of Christmas and see if that doesn't stir you up a little bit. And so I'd like to read to you from Luke chapter 2, verse 6 and 7. And while they were there, the time came for her baby to be born. She gave birth to her first son. She wrapped him snugly in strips of cloth and laid him in a manger because there was no lodging available for them. Today is the culmination of a long, long story. I started sharing a couple of weeks ago from the prophet Isaiah on the prophecies that were related to the birth of this little guy. And I spent all this week talking about some of the details of this moment in history. And today, on Christmas Day, is the day we celebrate the birth of Jesus. Now, I grant you that historically, he probably wasn't born on December 25th, but that doesn't matter. That's what we celebrate as a tradition, and that's fine. Today is the day we want to set aside and remember that. And I know a lot of y'all are not where you thought you would be, or not with the family you thought you would be. And I know that for some of you, Christmas Day might seem awfully lonely. I wish I could make that better for you, but I can't do that. I can share a little bit about this story and maybe uplift your spirit some, and that's what I'd like to do. Because Christmas is a special day. If your family's not around, well then think of the times when they were around. Remember those moments. We as humans have the ability to recall the past and actually to even relive part of the past. No other animal on earth has that ability as far as we know. Now, I don't mean to just live in the past, but to recall it. Some of those good times when you were little and that first Christmas that you remember came along, or that present you got that you really, really wanted and you were just busting at the seams to get. Or remember that first Christmas meal that you had with your spouse. Maybe it's not something you really want to remember, but maybe it is. And so today, we set aside time to remember the birth of this little guy. And as I've said, and you know, they traveled to Bethlehem because of the census that the Romans declared. And when they got there, it was time for Mary to give birth. Now, I remember the birth of my kids, and it was kind of a panicky thing. We had to get everything in the car and run to the hospital. And I remember on my second daughter, we ran to the hospital 4 times, and each time they told us to go back home. It wasn't time yet. But in Jesus' day, poor Joseph he didn't have anybody to run to. There wasn't a hospital. There might have been a midwife of some sort, but there's no indication that he knew that in this town of Bethlehem. He didn't live there. And there certainly wasn't a lot of time to go try to find one. So we find that here's this guy and this lady, and they're sitting there about to give birth to a child that's they've been foretold was going to be really, really special. Perhaps every child is really, really special if we think about it. They're all a gift from God. They're all a special opportunity to see new life. And so the baby's born. And we know from the story that the shepherds show up and the wise men show up and they bring gifts and angels show up. And boy, it must have been one celebration. but it was still about the boy. Everything is about the baby. Everything that happened is about this little guy and what he's going to mean for mankind. See, Jesus comes so that you and I can be reconciled to God, to be restored, at least in a little way, until we get to heaven, to what it was like back in the garden when Adam and Eve walked with God and talked with God on a regular basis. It's a special time, and it's a special time for us. This Christmas, the real meaning of Christmas is that God came to us. We couldn't come to him. We could try, and the Jews tried. Once a year, they made sacrifices every year, trying to overcome their sin. But the next year would come, they'd have to do it again. But with Jesus, he comes, he forgives our sins, and we're safe to talk with God, to fellowship with God. It's not God who walks away from us most of the time. It's you and I who walk away from him. We get so busy with other things. Christmas, we get so busy with unwrapping presents or baking or calling folks on the phone or whatnot that we don't have time to really think about what this is all about. So I want to encourage you today. I really do. Take a few minutes. Think about what Christmas means. What does Jesus mean to you? Has he changed your life? He certainly can. And if he hasn't, I invite you to invite him in. If he has changed your life, golly, I invite you to walk even closer with him. So I want to say once again, have a great day. Merry, Merry Christmas. I wish you the best. Thanks for sharing a little bit of your time today. I know there are other things competing for it. If you have a prayer concern or you have a need, please just let us know. We'll do everything we can as fast as we can to help meet your need. Thanks for listening. God bless you. I'll talk to you again.